Hi everybody and welcome to Nikki Chanel's YouTube channel. It is Nikki Chanel here, and today is going to be a very important day. It is July 8th, 2023, and it is my birthday. I'm 28 years old today, and then it also happens to mark exactly 6 months since I started doing social media full time. And so I figured today would be a great day to talk about this, and there's going to be three main topics I want to talk about. It's going to be talking about what were some of the events that led me to start social media? What were some of the things I did to grow my social media into this fairly large presence? And then the third one is what have been some of the results and what do I want to do moving forward, okay? Now we are going to get started, and as always, please like and subscribe. It helps us grow. So let us get started, babes. Okay, so let's talk about the reasons why I started social media. I could literally talk about this reason for close to 3 hours, and probably 2.5 hours of it would be my current job. Now, I'll just start with the simple. I started Nikki Dolly 95 back in, I want to say, April of 2017. I was sitting in college when I started it, and I used it as a way to showcase my feminine side, because living at home, it was fairly hard for me to show off being a girl amongst my parents, and this was way before transition. And it slowly developed into that, where I got into drag through social media. I got into effectively cross-dressing from social media. And then once I started to transition, it kind of became like a vlog about what were some of the things I was doing and all that. And there was at one point when I was in college that I really tried to push it, and like I did my makeup every day, and I started to see it grow. I went from, I think, 200 followers to 2,000 followers fairly quickly too. And so that's just generally what happened. But then COVID happened, I started to transition. I tried to pick it back up about a year after COVID started, but I wasn't able to do it all the time. And so I just let it peter out. I was also on the mega push at my job. I was working 50 hours a week. I was trying to move up as fast as humanly possible. And so that's what I kind of thought my life was going to be, was, climb that corporate ladder, get to the next step, and go from there. But then what happened basically, and this is where I may get into a tangent, just word of warning, is that I moved into a new position that was supposed to net me a manager, PIC, person in charge job within 6 months of doing it. 6 months rolled around, and I went and talked to the store manager about what was going on. And he said, oh, just wait a couple more months and we'll get you into the fourth position. I'm like, okay, I can wait another 6 months. I've been doing it in 6 months. And then what happened was I went and looked up the pay for the next position above me, and it was a grand total of a $1 pay raise. Effectively, I had a complete mental breakdown, because my parents always taught me to push forward, hit that next objective, hit that next goal, achieve your dreams, basically. And here I was like, oh, I'm not going to achieve those dreams. I'm going to be stuck at this job for the rest of my life. I'm just going to be doing general labor, low-paying wages for the rest of my life. And I had a complete mental breakdown. I completely just lost it. I went home to my mother and just kind of described the entire incident to her, and she's just like, oh, that's horrible. Like, what the hell? And I completely shut down mentally for like a week there. And that was on January 3rd. But then I kind of got thinking to myself, okay, you know what? I think now is the best time to start social media, because you're not making any money from this job. Well, I am making money, but not in the levels that I want to make, basically. And it was essentially, why not? Let's try something different. And so we started doing it. We went and bought the selfie light I'm actually filming this YouTube video on. And I went and bought one of my first pieces of lingerie, and I started posting from there. Now, when I started posting, I looked at it from a very, branding, very data-driven approach, because my college degree is actually in public relations and communications, and I took a lot of marketing classes. There was a lot of social media involved within that, and there was a lot of the tools that I use to push my social media now that I actually used in college, such as Canva being one of them. And so I sat down and was like, okay, what do I want to do? I was like, you know what? I want to be this glamour girl. I want to be this glamour doll. I want to be this like Barbie doll. I want to be this like glamour doll. That was what I wanted to be. So I'm like, okay, so I started looking up other trans girls who were doing the same thing. I got Nikki the Dragon, Gigi Gorgeous, Elena Genevieve, I got all of those girls, but I wanted to put my own flair in it because there's a lot of competition on social media. There is so much competition on social media, and I wanted to put my own flair in it. I wanted to inject a little bit of my personality in it because I was a nerdy freaking history buff before I transitioned. And so I'm like, okay, let's throw a little bit of that in there. Let's throw in some like video game references. Let's throw in some like cute little pop culture references into, you know, shots of being sitting on the bed in lingerie basically. And so started doing that. Every day off, I would devote about 2 to 3 hours a day just taking photos. I also started the Spicy Link at this time too, because I had heard that makes you money, and I had been making a steady stream of it since I started it, but it was never to any extent. And basically what I've learned is in that time frame of doing social media, that first month was the most ever made on my Spicy Link ever. And then the second month, I started growing on social media a lot. Like my Instagram went from 2,237 to basically 7K by February. And that was really impressive. I was like, whoa, this is like crazy. And I was looking at a lot of these other accounts that I was kind of basing it off of. And I saw my numbers go way up, like way up. I was like, whoa, that's like wild. And then February rolled around, the end of February, and I effectively made what I had made on my Spicy Link in a whole year before that of my Spicy Link. And I was still working 40 hours. In fact, I'm still working 40 hours. And between that and my Spicy Link, I was like, oh, like I can actually start thinking about moving out and then start devoting more time to social media and start devoting more time to it, start getting YouTube, which was always one of my goals. And so in April, I actually moved out. So within 4 months, my life completely turned around because I started embracing what I was. I started pushing my own content, and I started applying the drive that I had at my job to my own stuff, and I started to see results from it. And this is one of the main things that I want to talk about in this video, is that social media is literally based off of how much effort and time you put into it. I devote pretty good amount of time into it, and I see growth from it. And so those were some of the steps that I used to grow it, really. And so then we get into the results and moving forward. Basically, it completely blew my mind. It completely blew my mind. Beyond any thought process of anything like that, social media completely blew my mind. Like I went from 2,000 followers to 27,000 followers at the time of this recording. I think it's at 27,134 on Instagram as of right now. And like I grew it by over 25,000 followers, a little bit under. And I was like, whoa, like it completely exploded. Like I started doing YouTube channels, I started growing my Twitter at the same time, started growing Reddit, my Spicy Link completely exploded into reliable income that was starting to rival what I was making from my job. In fact, when I was actually sitting down doing the math on it, the amount of time I put into social media is netting me half of what I do at my job. And I work at my job 5 days a week, and I only do my social media 2 days a week on my days off. And I was like, whoa, this is like some crazy numbers right here. And then I started looking up monetization, started looking up all of these different things on like, okay, how do I do this? Start thinking about like maybe doing some brand deals, start thinking about maybe doing some local deals with some of the Boise, Idaho businesses and all that. And I was just completely stunned. Like every day I wake up, there's a new metric I hit, there's a new goal I hit. There is something new to do every single day. And like my days off are busy, like they're really busy because I've effectively created a second job from this. And honestly, this is what I've always wanted, is that I have drive and I have ambition. The 50, 60 hours I was putting at my work, I've started to devote to this thing, and it's become amazing. In fact, like I don't want to dream. I still want to take everything, you know, in steps and everything. But like one of my dreams is to drive a Lexus LS 450 F Sport. It's about $100,000 car. That's like one of my dream cars. I've dreamt about that car since I was like 20. And that may actually be a thing moving forward. So who knows? Like it's, honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now is that I have done more for myself in the last 6 months than the last 7 years of work combined. And I now have this apartment. I can make content all the time. I got my fitness goals going on there. We're planning my chest fairly soon. Like, my hair is long, I'm girly, I'm feminine. I have friends on social media, such as the live video I did with all those girls on there. Go follow that live video, it was awesome. I love my life now, and it was because I stepped away from my job and started to do social media. I never thought social media would ever turn into anything. You know, I was kind of the same way, but I took a very nuanced approach to it. I took a very data-driven, a very statistical-driven, and I approached it like, okay, here's a problem, I need money, let's start solving this thing. And honestly, my life has been absolutely amazing since I've started social media. So in conclusion is that social media has allowed me to grow my life into what I want. Like, this is not a video saying you should go out and do social media. No, like it's hard, but like any job, it just requires patience, it requires a focus, it requires a goal. Like, most of my job is data and statistics, looking at what does, what doesn't, change this, modify this, go from here, learning Premiere Pro, learning video editing, learning camera angles, lighting, learning how to do like the best things to make yourself look good on social media. And if there's anything that I want to say from this video is that the last 6 months of my life have been amazing because I did it myself. This is not some pride video talking about how like I overcame, but like I overcame a lot of obstacles to get here. I'm on a better relationship with my parents now. I have friends at my work. I have friends online. I am in an amazing spot in my life because of the work I put in over the last 6 months. So happy birthday to me, babes. Please like and subscribe, and we will be here for the next one.